Here's the thing, HoYoverse thinks we're stupid. They dangle the symbol in front of us every day, thinking we don't know what it means. Don't believe me? It's on the Mora, Welcome Moon, Paimon, Domains, and many more. But what does it mean? Well, let's start with something we all lack. Mora is used to upgrade and unlock a character's potential. It's used in enhancements, upgrades, or used in unlocking any sort of improvements, really. And here, the Triquetra is pointed upward. But if you look at TCG, the unknown cards are pointed downward. When a domain is locked, the bigger Triquetra is also pointed downwards and remains visible until you unlock it. Now, if we look at Paimon, she's believed to be a weakened god, and her body also has the downward Triquetra. From these clues alone, we can kind of deduce that a downward Triquetra is somewhat linked to a seal or the unknown, or something that's locked away, while an upward Triquetra is the exact opposite, being related to upgrading and unlocking the true potential of something like our characters. Essentially, the Triquetra explains all life forms in Teyvat. Let me explain a bit more. We first need to figure out what these are exactly, and I think teleportation waypoints gives us the best clue. There's a hidden Triquetra on waypoints. Now, what are teleportation waypoints used for? To save us time. And is it a coincidence that when Paimon comes out, aka the creature with Triquetra, time immediately stops. Leaves stop falling, water stops flowing, and enemies freeze mid-attack. And Paimon also saves us time, similar to the waypoints, by letting us fast forward on the clock. So would it be crazy to assume that Triquetra is somewhat also related to time? Now you might ask, what does this have to do with the Mora? You know, unlocking and upgrading the potential of your waifus, and how does it relate to Kakashi's Sharingan? Well, I'm glad you asked. Going back to the waypoints, if the Triquetra here is related to time and the center is the teleporting time mechanism, then wouldn't the three corners represent current, past, and future, aka the three phases of time? If we translate these three phases, isn't past synonymous with death and future being related to rebirth, aka a life in the future, which makes current synonymous with life as we are living in the current. Linking this back to Mora and upgrades, isn't the whole process of upgrades taking materials we collected from the past, rebirthing them into another material in the present so that we are stronger in the future? In other words, the Triquetra, like I said, is the cycle of life that rules Teyvat, or the natural progression of time and the natural progression of all life forms in Genshin Impact, with the tip of the Triquetra representing the present because the past is behind while the future is ahead, which explains why Renova, the ruler of death, tells us when our time is up. And it makes sense why it's on the Welcome Moon, because you get the primos on each new day when you log in, aka each new cycle of life. Now, if an upward Triquetra is the progression of time and the ability to bring the true potential out of something, then an inverted one would mean the exact opposite, the reduction or suppression of the true potential of something to its simplest form, which explains the locked domains because its true nature is being suppressed behind the seal, or the TCG card's downward symbol marking its simplest and plain side, or Paimon being now reduced or suppressed inside her simple form from being a former higher power. Now, the bigger question is, 1. If it's the cycle of life and also relating to time as we mentioned, then it must be linked to Istaroth, aka the god of time, or even Venti, but we don't see them wearing the symbol. Just kidding. During the time I was recording this, I didn't realize Venti is actually covered in Triquetras, and we know he was once worshipped alongside Istaroth in Mondstadt, which makes sense he has all the time symbols, but still doesn't explain why Istaroth doesn't have one. 2. Isn't eating Paimon cannibalism? And 3. If Xiao and Kazuha can jump so high, why aren't they in the NBA?